Kiwi coming through into a business environment where business people haven't got it. Business people are scared on the whole of Generation Y. They don't know how to deal with you. They don't know how to put up with Facebook, social networking in the workplace, destroying productivity. They don't get yet that it's about being innovative and changing the way that the business interacts with its clients. So we have a bigger issue here than talking about technology. We actually have a mindset change that needs to occur in New Zealand. So part of what I do is go out and talk to groups about the wonderful stories and the impacts on communities and our lifestyle and our quality of life as a result of adopting technology. The not-for-profit sector, what a wonderful opportunity to actually take on something like this, to actually be able to help people, because that's what not-for-profits do.
Photographs, and it could be done from people contributing their own photographs and then putting them somewhere on the surface and then providing an interface for people to explore and to travel around that information as well. And that's what we're seeing here, and we're seeing the ability to do that right now with these sort of technologies.
Great examples are Zero, are TradeMe, and there's several others out there, but it's relatively small compared to most other markets on earth where entire industries are being born and live online, right? And this intent now of saying, I'll entirely orient my business online and build it digitally. I'll build my entire education institutions online digitally, right? We have recommendation engines running where you could go and recommend a product. I think it's about 38,000 recommendations in the last few months since we launched that feature, right? And people will say to me, why haven't you bothered doing that? Surely you give people a voice to air their complaints and their unhappiness. And we actually want that. We want to know if someone's unhappy so we can do something about it. So the web is turning into a massive transparency engine by which a business can look right into the heart of its customers and know what it needs to do next. And this is probably the most significant change that's going to impact businesses around us right now. Obviously, you're pretty familiar with MySpace, 106 million users now, also driving transparency about products and services. What you might not realise is that if we're a country, it would be the 11th largest in the world. So increasingly, as we start to think about a market like Japan or Germany or Russia as a target, you need to start thinking about these communities that are being created online as entire markets to go after in their own right. Right? Entire businesses are being built on these platforms that will rival the size of some of our largest countries and companies in New Zealand. Right? And they're being based on virtual populations and communities of interest that are coalescing on these web platforms. This in turn also has a significant downside, and we spend a huge amount of time thinking about this. As bandwidth grows, as devices proliferate, as access increases, so does the challenge of commanding people's attention. If you're a marketer and you're starting to look at the web and digital strategies, you know, we've got shorter attention spans. People are overloaded with media, right? We're proactively avoiding ads, and we're massively averse to intrusion from spam and other forms of email that we just don't want to receive.
$40 billion companies from the beach.
Think about it in these terms. Businesses will spend more by 2010 on energy than they will on hardware to run their businesses on. This is an enormous issue. So if I was in New Zealand, I was looking at a digital strategy, I'd absolutely go and look very, very closely at power consumption and how do we build the greenest, most efficient IT infrastructure on earth, because that's what will win. Next thing up, massive explosion in storage. We've seen a 6-fold increase in digital data in the last 4 years. In other words, we've reached a tipping point at the rate at which data is being created around the planet. 95% of this data is completely unstructured. The average Fortune 5000 company has about a petabyte of data now under management. That's a 50% increase in 3 years.
And I guess I'm uncomfortable, you know, feel a sense of responsibility about the weight of the task that telecom has to take to realise our part of the digital strategy, to take our place in this society, to do our job and the job you expect of us. It's exciting, it's enormously challenging, but I'm delighted to be here and delighted to be getting on with it. Shareholders. I think there's another opportunity, David, I want to mention. There are scale issues in New Zealand, it's undeniable. And I think too many directly competing infrastructures could be a crazy thing. What we need to do is get to a situation where the industry works together better and shares infrastructures. For example, fibre. I don't want to have all of the costs of towers, fibre and everything else that it takes to run a full soup to nuts operation if I could share it with my colleagues around this table. And I know some of them feel similarly, so I think we need to get our act together to deal with the scale issue by working better together. It's not about not competing, it's about claiming where you do compete and claiming where you don't need to compete. You know, there's some trade-offs there that can be very, very helpful to everybody, and it's free money at the end of the day.
Increasing bandwidth will place an infinite demand on power. There is every probability that in the United States by 2010 we will run out of power to fuel our largest data centers. We will face massive data center brownouts across the country. Our businesses will stop working. We will literally, at the current rate of deployment of inefficient, aging server infrastructure, there will simply not be enough power available for that infrastructure to run effectively and reliably over time.